Hi everyone, and welcome back to Anne's Family Recipe. It's football season, so today I am bringing you 3 delicious dip recipes. First up is a classic cold spinach dip. Next, I have a creamy, sweet Buckeye dip, which if you've never heard of a Buckeye, it's a candy very common in my area. So like Western PA, Eastern Ohio, it's like peanut butter fudge dipped in chocolate. So good, and this dip is easy and delicious. And lastly, I have a classic buffalo chicken dip. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and please give this video a thumbs up. Let's get dipping. First up is a cold and creamy spinach dip using this Knorr vegetable mix. It's a dried soup mix that adds incredible flavor to this dip. I'm starting with 1 package of frozen chopped spinach, and then I just put it into a microwave-safe bowl, and I didn't add any water. I just popped it in the microwave for about 5 minutes just to get it thawed out a little bit. Then I broke it up with a fork, and I wrapped it in a bunch of paper towels to squeeze out a lot of the excess liquid. Now, you definitely want to let this cool a little bit before you squeeze out the liquid, or you will burn your hands. Might be speaking from experience there, but that's the best way to not have kind of a soupy, watery dip, to get as much of that excess liquid out of the spinach as you can. Next, I added in 1 cup of mayonnaise and 16 ounces of sour cream. Then I poured in the vegetable soup mix packet. So like I said before, you can find this in the soup aisle at your grocery store. It's a dried mix, very similar to French onion soup mix, but this has a variety of vegetables in it. And by adding it to the dip, you're rehydrating all those vegetables and adding a great salty, savory flavor. Next are chopped water chestnuts. You just drain the can and add it right into the dip for a nice crunch. Lastly, I added a few chopped up green onions and then stirred it all together. I covered this in plastic wrap and then put it in the refrigerator for about an hour before serving so all the flavors could marry together. Pumpernickel bread tastes so good with this dip. Now, this step is optional, but I made a little bread bowl for serving the dip, and then I cut up the interior and the lid of the bowl to serve alongside of the dip, along with some veggies too. To serve, I spooned the chilled dip into my pumpernickel bread bowl, and then I placed all the bits of pumpernickel bread around it, along with some baby carrots and grape tomatoes. This spinach dip is such a winner. It is savory and salty, creamy, and then it has that little bit of a soft crunch from the water chestnuts. So good. Next up is Buckeye Dip. So this is a sweet peanut butter and chocolate dip. I'm starting with half a brick of cream cheese that's softened, and then to that I'm adding half a cup of creamy peanut butter. Next is 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and then I'll mix that all together with my hand mixer. I carefully added in 1 cup total of powdered sugar and then mix that in. Next is 1 container of thawed whipped topping. When everything was light, fluffy, and thoroughly combined, I added in 1 bag of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I did reserve a few to sprinkle over the top as a little garnish at the end. Now, there's nothing wrong with this amount of chocolate chips because semi-sweet chocolate is delicious, but you could probably get away with half a bag of mini chocolate chips, and you would still have a nice texture in the dip and a yummy chocolatey flavor. I covered this dip and put it in the refrigerator to chill for a little bit. However, I do recommend removing it from the fridge at least 20 or 30 minutes before you serve it because you want that cream cheese to soften up a little bit again so it's easier to dip into. This dip would be great served with pretzels, graham crackers, even apple slices, but my kids chose chocolate Teddy Grahams, which tasted amazing, although I do not remember them being this tiny. They were like mini size, so it was a little bit hard to pick them up and have enough room on the cookie to dip them into the dip, but it did taste great. I know they make chocolate graham crackers. I couldn't find any at my store, but that might be a nice alternative with a little bit more surface area. This Buckeye Dip was so easy to put together and a huge hit. Now, this might sound hard to believe, but I never ate a chicken wing or even heard about buffalo chicken flavored anything until I went to college. And then my eyes were opened because now buffalo chicken anything is a flavor that I crave. And I make just a basic, incredible buffalo chicken dip for any party that I host. So the recipe I'm sharing today, you could bake it in the oven. I'm gonna make it in the crock pot, which is so easy. Also, I'm using canned chicken, which saves me a lot of steps, but you could cook fresh chicken breasts and then shred them yourself. Whatever you'd like to do, it always tastes great and is a huge crowd pleaser. I'm starting out by shredding up 1 8-ounce block of Colby Jack cheese. Next, I'm lightly spraying the inside of my crock pot with a nonstick spray, and then I'm adding in 2 bricks of softened cream cheese. Next, I dump in 2 cans of chicken breast. So this is pre-cooked and canned, already shredded up for you. You just have to drain the liquid out of the cans. And you could take a fork and separate it here. I just separate it with my spoon as I'm stirring the dip while it's cooking. I also added in the shredded Colby Jack cheese. And then next is hot sauce. I use Frank's Red Hot sauce, and this is my preferred ratio of ingredients here. So for this recipe, I use 2/3 of a cup of Frank's Red Hot sauce and then 1 cup of Hidden Valley Ranch dressing. This dip has a great tang and a little bit of a kick, but if you want it to be spicier, just add more hot sauce. I gave this just a little bit of a stir, put the lid on my crock pot, and set it to high for 2 hours. About an hour into the cooking process, I gave this a good stir. Like I said, I used my spoon to break up any large chunks of chicken. Then I put the lid back on and let it finish cooking. After 2 hours, everything had melted together and combined into this creamy, incredible dip. And so I set the crock pot down to warm, and it stayed warm throughout the whole party. So whenever guests wanted it, they would have a nice hot dip to enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me here today in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon.